So here today I'm ranking video games from my life. Some of them my favorite of all time, others, well, not so much. You're going to probably expect to see some of these, and then there's going to be others that maybe aren't so expected. Again, these are like just video games that I've always really liked from my life. Again, we still have the second camera here. But yeah, there's going to be some ones that maybe might be a little bit surprising. You're definitely going to learn something about me, because believe it or not, I did not just play strategy games for my whole life. I actually didn't get into strategy games until I was around like 16 or 17 years old. Simulation games is a little bit of a different story. Okay, so I need to jump into this because I'm going to be here forever if I don't. Let's just go ahead and start with something that a lot of people know me for, which is Civilization 5. This is not Civilization 6. This is Civilization 5. Civilization 6 is going to be on the game. In the game, this is a game, I guess, the tier list game. Civilization 5, I have broken it down many times. I just reviewed over my channel's history in the previous video on this channel. I reviewed over my main channel's history, and it all started with Civilization 5. My channel, content creation-wise, my passion for strategy games did not. But this was the first big game. Actually, I would dare to say Civilization 5 is the reason why I dropped out of college. The first time. If you didn't know, I dropped out twice. Yeah, Civilization 5 is probably the reason why. The first semester was pretty okay because it came out September 2010. This was the first year I was in college. The first semester I was in college too. And that second semester of college, I remember I was just playing this game. I will be honest, I think it has to go S tier for me. I love this game so much, and you know what's hilarious is that when this game first came out, I remember being on the forums. I think they were called, what are they called again? The Civilization forums? Something 2K forums, I don't remember, but I remember being on those forums. People hated this game. People despised it. All the old Civ 4 players despised it, and now it's kind of a theme in strategy games. No matter what happens, when a new strategy game drops that's a sequel to an old one, the old people will always hate it, which I'm an old people now, but I'm just saying the old people will always prefer the other rendition. That actually might be the case today when it comes to, I just ranked Civ 5 in S. I don't know if I'm going to rank Civ 6 in S, but it really all comes down to like what you grew up with and things like that. So anyways, I remember people really not liking Civilization 5 and it being pretty bad until the second expansion came out. I can't remember what it was called, but they dropped 2 expansions. I can't remember, but the second one, I think it was Gods and Kings, or that was I don't really remember. It's all just a jumbled mess at this point. But after they dropped the 2 expansions, Brave New World was when everything changed. That was 2013. Everyone loved that game, and they just never really expanded upon that. 2K has a weird development cycle. I have to admit, I do prefer Paradox's way of developing games. I know people get really annoyed of it. I know that just like probably blew many people's minds. And I have to admit, it's getting a little annoying with games like EU4 that will probably jump into EU4 and Hearts of Iron 4. There's been so many DLCs because those games have been out for so long, but I would prefer that than the way 2K does it, because 2K just drops 2 expansions and then drops it forever. Let's go to one what maybe might be a little bit more surprising to people. Let's just talk about Battlefront 2. Now this is the original one from 2005. I did not like the remakes, but as a kid growing up, I loved Battlefield 2. I remember that there was a summer where this is all I played on my PlayStation 2, and it wasn't even a multiplayer thing. It was just a single player thing, doing that galaxy mode, bouncing around the galaxies, and slowly taking over planets. I loved that. That's always going to have a special place in my heart. I had to get the remake of, sorry, did I say Battlefield? Battlefront 2. I never really got too deeply into Battlefield, believe it or not, even though it's a historical game. Battlefront, when they remade it in like whenever that was, 2013, 2014, I just never felt it. But the original PS2 games, I had a big, I really liked those games a lot. Okay, I'm just trying to think what I want to do next. Here we go. Let's talk about something bad. Let's talk a weird one. Civilization Beyond Earth. We just ranked Civilization 5. Civilization Beyond Earth was in between Civ 5 and Civ 6. This was a game that Firaxis dropped as a sequel to, I am blanking on that game. Yes, as a sequel to Alpha Centauri. It's just like Civ. It's a 4X, but it's futuristic, and you play on different planets. I did not like this very much, and I played a lot of it on my channel back in those early days when I was still Let's Playing. I just it just felt so bleh to me. And obviously, history has not been kind to this game. I've always wanted to go back to this and give it like a new look now that I'm older. I mean, the things that they were trying was just really different, but I gotta admit, for me as a history buff, it just wasn't for me. I just couldn't do it. I feel wrong kind of putting it in D tier. Luckily, there's no F tier in this. I wouldn't put it in F. I would say somewhere between C and D, but it just, something about it, I just couldn't get. I'm not a big sci-fi person, and I have a couple games on here where I'm going to rank low. These are not just like my favorite games of all time. These are like games that I sometimes feel mixed about. Another game from my childhood that I like to go back to, again, I did not start off with strategy games, but I will start with something that was the very beginning. I want to say this was the beginning game that changed pretty much everything for me. This is a simulation game, and this is, to be exact, I think this is the icon for Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I loved, as a kid growing up, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 3. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 3 still, to this day, are in my head when I go to a theme park. Like, I want to go back home and play these games every time I visit Disneyland here in California, or when I go to Universal Studios or Six Flags or wherever. Like, I just want to go back home and design my own park. This is probably getting S tier for me. I would say, I mean, it's funny, I think Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is better than 3, but as a kid I liked 3 because of the 3D graphics, obviously. I think I was in middle school when I really started playing that game a lot, but I loved it. If YouTubers were around that back then, I might have ended up being like a Roller Coaster Tycoon YouTuber, to be honest, because I would have just fell in love with all the creators making content. Again, this was old. This is like 2004. I think YouTube was still around, but nobody was doing content like this. So I love it, and I liked Planet Coaster. I was a fan of, but I didn't grow up with Planet Coaster, which is why Planet Coaster is kind of like the spiritual successor in a way. But yeah, let's talk about another simulation game, because it's right here. City Skylines. Believe it or not, my channel had a lot of success with City Skylines back during the old 2016 days. I remember getting a lot of views when City Skylines dropped an expansion called the Natural Disasters expansion. That was a really fun thing. Now, I have not played City Skylines 2. I actually have, but I haven't done it on video yet. I played it for like 30 minutes to an hour. I was having problems getting into that. I know that's kind of a thing. Again, it's a simulation game, strategy game from Paradox. It's going to take like a year or two to marinate. So who knows what's going to happen with City Skylines 2, but City Skylines 1 has a very special place in my heart. In fact, I remember the whole controversy with SimCity when that whole thing dropped, and that was like the first example of like, wasn't it an always online game, and a lot of people couldn't access it, and it was just a mess. But yeah, I really like City Skylines. Not my favorite game of all time, but I have a special place in my heart with that game, even though I'm horrible at it. Fun fact, being from California makes you, I think, automatically horrible at City Skylines, because you just don't know how to make cities without insane car-based infrastructure. I mean, it's kind of hilarious how bad we are, how bad I am at making cities in this game. Okay, another one that I'm going to talk about, I guess, let's do Minecraft. Another reason why I dropped out of college, I'll be honest, it was two games, really. It was Civilization 5, like I said, because that dropped September 2010, my first semester, and I think I got into Minecraft in early 2011. I remember being in the library of my college, playing Civ 5, watching Epic Mealtime, and slowly watching, who is that guy, not Ned Flanders, there's a specific YouTuber that I'm just blanking on his name. I think it starts with an F. He was playing Minecraft, this game called Minecraft in 2011. I was watching those videos on YouTube. I remember going over to Frank's house and telling him how you have to play this game. This game's so cool. And this was back during a time when there was no multiplayer. We had to do some sketchy things in order to make multiplayer work. He had to basically view my computer at all times. It was weird. I don't really know, but I like Minecraft. You'd be surprised at how much I didn't play it. I did play it hardcore in those days, in 2011, like the first year or two, but then I kind of stopped, believe it or not, and there really was like a 5-year period where I didn't play, and there's a bunch of things that I missed out on. I never figured out Redstone. I never figured out what that game, what that whole part was about. There's a whole bunch like the Ender World, all that stuff, because I was there when it dropped, and it was just a moment in time where I was obsessed with. I liked the survival aspect of Minecraft a lot. That was one of my favorite aspects of that game. But yes, it's getting a solid B from me. Surprising, I know a lot of people would probably rank that way higher. How about let's go with a random one again? Another thing that started my whole gaming passion, Gears of War. It's funny looking back at this game now because it's almost a little bit cheesy. They just came out with so many different sequels, and I feel like Microsoft kind of ran it into the ground. It kind of feels like it was just that time period. It was perfect. This game, this aesthetic, it was kind of emo. You'd find it in like Hot Topics around in those times when Hot Topics was still like the scary place for the goths. But in 2006, when I first got my Xbox 360, this game changed my life. And I played this game hardcore when I was in high school for like 2 years. And I played Gears 2 and I played Gears 3. I played a little bit of the fourth one that was outside of the storyline, but I have to admit it has to go in a really special place in my heart. I'm only going to give it an A and not an S because it didn't last with me forever, but it had such a strong, it existed at a part of my life so strongly that I have to give it, I don't even know if that's making any sense. Like, a lot of people played Halo. I was a Gears person. And in fact, I guess we'll just go up to Halo right now. I actually don't want to reveal. Maybe when I see it, I'll find it. But yeah, I don't want to reveal too much about the games that I'm about to cover here. Let's go back to a strategy game that might surprise a couple people. Now, this one was something that I played on my channel, but it got horrible views. Like, it just never did that good. This is one of those games that I was obsessed with playing by myself, and I was obsessed with watching content about it, but every time I'd play it on my channel, I would only do a handful of videos, partly because it didn't get very many views. I also probably wasn't very good at the game, to be honest, but I still loved consuming content from this game, and that game is XCOM and XCOM 2. It's both of them. I loved XCOM 1. That mod, Long War, was incredible. There's just something about XCOM. I wonder if they're ever going to make a third one. I really like it. I think it might have to go about there. I want to give it higher. Man, if I could have just somehow been able to have a little bit more success with XCOM, which maybe was a blessing in disguise, because XCOM was always a hard game to find a community around on YouTube. I mean, it's just, there's some games that just don't work for people to like watch. Like whenever I mean, again, there are creators that make good XCOM content and make good views, but there's not a huge community around it. Usually it's because that person is extremely good. It's not like Hearts of Iron 4, where Hearts of Iron 4 kind of creates this massive ecosystem of creators and people, audiences will watch anyone play that game. Some games really are only good for 2 or 3 creators, and it's hard to break in. XCOM, I think I would describe as definitely one of those games, and I don't know, it's unfortunate, but I would love to have put it up there a little bit higher. Okay, this one right here, I got Halo. This is the one that I was actually looking for. I was not a Halo guy. I was a Gears of War guy. I'm trying to remember, the first Halo I played was on the original Xbox. I think that was Halo 1 or Halo 2. Obviously, I have the Halo 2 icon here. But I played Halo 2. I definitely played Halo 3. Halo had some of the best trailers of all time, best commercials ever. Halo 3 had an epic trailer. Halo Reach as well. Man, I don't want people to hate me, but I will be honest, it's probably getting C for me. It was not that big in my life. I liked Halo Reach. I liked Halo 3. I played Halo Wars, the strategy game. It's funny because a lot of people around me were upset, like my friends were obsessed with Halo, and maybe that's why I didn't get as connected with it, because it felt like that was their thing. It was their thing to be obsessed about, and I was supportive of them, but I couldn't get super into it myself. I don't really know why. I don't know. I'm not a Halo hater. I like Halo. I actually played Halo 4 too. I remember playing Halo 4. Not a big fan of Halo 4 that much, but yeah. Let's do probably a really shocking one that everyone's just like, what the hell? This is the only sports game that I've ever really played. I played Madden. I do like American football. Sorry for my Europeans out there. I know they don't like American football, but I specifically have never been no, I should not say that. I've liked Madden. As a kid, I liked to watch NFL. Somewhere when I graduated high school and when I went into college, I liked college football a lot more. And I still to this day like college football a lot more. I do still watch the NFL, but it feels icky. I don't really know why. I've always been, because I played football also, me and Frank actually played football. That's where we actually met. Because I played football, because my dad was a coach for football, because my grandpa was a coach for football, I've always loved the deeper strategies behind it. I've liked the diversity in player athleticism and how good players are. And college is just a lot more exciting with that. The offenses are all so different. The talent levels are just crazy. When there's a good player in college football, you can really see how good they are because of, in the NFL, everyone's playing at such a high tier that it's hard to see how great certain players are. And you can really see it, I think, in college. So I love the NCAA franchise, and I'm specifically talking about this because apparently we're going to finally get NCAA. It's going to come back after like a 8-year 10-year hiatus, something crazy like that. It's probably going to suck because it's EA, and I don't trust them at all, but I will probably be getting that. Honestly, this one's probably going A for me, just to be honest. Love myself some college football. I use this icon because this is the final college football game they've ever made. I'm definitely going to get the remake. Okay, I'm trying to think where else do I want to go because we've got a couple more games to go. How about let's go back to a strategy game. I'll be honest. Okay, this one's going to surprise some people. When it comes to watching AI, there's a big difference between my love for a game when it comes to watching versus playing. And I don't know if I've ever officially announced this, but my favorite Paradox game to play is actually Crusader Kings 2. I love to play, and it took me a while. And CK3 too. I'm using CK2 because it's a little bit more popular, but I do like Crusader Kings 3. When it comes to, if someone forced me to play only one Paradox game, I would absolutely pick the Crusader Kings franchise. It's just a lot more fun to play. I don't know. Not fun to watch. I don't know why they don't open that game up to a full world map. That's part of the thing. You kind of need a full world map to keep the AI interesting and things like that. I really like Crusader Kings. It's funny, I probably played more of these games right here than Crusader Kings, the Crusader Kings franchise, but I still loved it, and I still enjoyed every campaign I had with that. I mean, you get to marry your cousin, you get to kill your brother, I like how I started with the incest thing at first, classic Alabamian coming out there. I apologize for that in advance. What are we going to do next? I think we're going to go, I'm going to mix it up between strategy and games that people probably don't know that I like. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I would say, is like top 3 favorite games of all time. It's probably going right there. I haven't played it in a long time. I think I played the remaster a little bit, but San Andreas like changed my life. Again, I'm not talking about GTA 5. I'm talking about San Andreas with CJ, and the memes are still alive. People don't often talk about how Samuel L. Jackson was one of the voice. He was the antagonist in that franchise. I don't even know how I recognized his voice as a kid. This is a weird flex, but I've always been pretty good at recognizing voices in voice acting. I can kind of like hear instantly like, oh, that's this person. I can tell by his voice. I don't really know why I have a talent for that, but I figured, yeah, I like Samuel L. Jackson. I love that San Andreas was about my home. Obviously, you don't, because I grew up in the LA area, and that's what San Andreas, that's the setting for, it's parody. I didn't play GTA 5 too much, actually. Another thing that I'm going to kind of reveal, I don't think I played GTA 5 for more than like 2 or 3 minutes. I know that's crazy. I remember maybe picking it up like one time and driving. It was just a time when GTA 5 came out. When was that? 2013? At that point, I was like full on into strategy. I was full on into making my channel work. I just didn't have time to play GTA. I didn't think people wanted to watch me play GTA, so I never got into it. I never played GTA 5. I watch a lot of videos about it. I kind of know what happens. I mean, at this point, it's been like 10 years. I kind of get the whole gist of it. Even if I played GTA 5, it wasn't going to beat where San Andreas came from me because that just hit at a perfect time in my life. I love the soundtrack. I love the 90s rap, the LA. I love 90s LA movies. It was all of that. Also, you could go to Las Vegas in that game and San Francisco. I cannot believe that you can't do that in GTA 5. That's crazy. And I want to do a video actually about, I keep talking about this, doing a tier list on where I want to see a Grand Theft Auto game take place. And I want to see them do that. I want to see them include 3 different cities like they did in San Andreas, with LA, with San Francisco, and Vegas. I thought that was such a cool little idea. Here's a weird one. Again, gonna make people mad. Was never a Portal fan. I played this game all the way through. I beat this game. I didn't like it. Maybe that's because I'm dumb. I just remember having a huge headache in that game. I don't think I like puzzle games. I remember I tell my friends this, and they couldn't believe that I didn't like Portal. I don't know what it is. I just remember having what felt like a migraine the whole time during that game. I don't know. I just don't like puzzles. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. It's weird because I like strategy games, and I like to use my brain, but not in a puzzle way. I don't know where that comes from. I never want to play this game again. I know people. I know it's like people's favorite game. I hate the game. It's like Reddit's favorite game, and I'm just like, nope, I can't do it. Here's another random one. Total War. I briefly went into it in my last video. When I started playing strategy games on my YouTube channel, when I was Let's Playing, it was Paradox Games, it was Firaxis Games, the Civilization franchise, and then I wanted to make it Total War games. I felt like if I could do those 3 franchises, I could be like the god of strategy games. That sounds like a ridiculous statement now, but back in the day when I was young and I didn't really understand about YouTube, that seemed possible. That seemed plausible. If I could just smash all 3 of those games and just create so much, because this was back during a time where I was uploading like 5 videos a day. I was really I mean, it's really easy to make Let's Play content, but I was uploading like 5 videos a day, and it was like 6 a.m. was Civ, 9 a.m. was EU4, 12 was like AI watching Civ 6, and then like 3 was Hoi 4, and I thought if I could just squeeze in Total War, if I could just figure it out. And it's really funny, I'm only bringing this up, I'm only including Total War in this thing because I wanted to play it and I wanted to learn it, and there was this time in my life where I would have become probably a big Total War fan, but because of that Sega policy that I was just mentioning, Sega did not, they had this weird rule on their website forever that said you're not allowed to play the games unless you have written permission. You're not allowed to Let's Play the games, because I know this sounds crazy in 2024, but back in the day, some gaming companies thought that you are not allowed to make money off of just playing their games, and they didn't understand the value of having people play your games. So yeah, Sega kept this weird policy, and Total War just completely, I just didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to take a risk. I mean, my channel was everything to me, and I didn't want to take that risk by uploading to. It's funny because they probably wouldn't have done anything, but I was a little bit paranoid, and I didn't try. And it's funny because I also talked to many community managers in the Total War franchise. I ended up getting invited to Total War events when Warhammer came out, maybe a couple others. Very nice people. They always wanted me to get into it, but by that point, it was over. Like the time had already passed. Like it was 2016, 2017. I already found my groove, and when I would upload Total War, by that time it was already over. I had already carved my niche out of a Civ audience and a Paradox audience, and that audience didn't really want to watch Total War. So I'm always really kind of sad about that. I guess they're going to kind of get a B tier. Unfortunately, I never really dabbled that much into it, but I'm pretty sure it could have been my favorite. It had the opportunity to possibly be one of my favorites. Let's do just Mega Man here. This was just a random one that I liked to play when I was a kid. I really enjoyed Mega Man. I'm going to slap it down there in B. And also I'm going to go with another little game here. I think it was Mega Man 9, by the way, that I think that was my favorite. Another nice B. This is just a fun app game. I played it on my channel many times. This is Mini Metro. I also like Mini Motorways. Simple game. For some reason, I always play them when I'm in an airplane. I could just play when I have to, fly to Europe and it's like a 10-hour flight. I can just play Mini Metro for like 3 out of those 10 hours and be pretty happy. And sometimes people will ask me, the people sitting next to me, like, hey, what game is that? It looks kind of cool. I don't know. I've always just had a weird place in my heart for Mini Metro. Fun game. I like Metros. Maybe that's part of the reason why I like Metros in my everyday life, because when I started playing that game, I didn't really have much experience with Metros, and I got more and more interested in it afterwards. I also like a Batman Arkham. This is Arkham Asylum. I played this one heavy. I know Arkham City's up there too, definitely. But both these games, here's the thing about me, I'm a massive Batman fan. I was thinking about it the other day. You know how like people, I'm a millennial. Cringe, I know. Millennials have a lot of cringe fandoms for some reason that they're just like obsessed about, whether it's Harry Potter, whether it's Star Wars. It's really cringy. Disney stuff, Disney adults. It's like the thing that describes millennials the most. I had to be real with myself, and I had to ask myself, like, well, what's an obsessive fandom that you're about? I don't think I'm obsessive about it, but I do have a nerdy love for Batman. I will still play pretty much every Batman game, or I will watch every Batman movie, no matter how much I hate superhero movies. It's funny, I always show up for a Batman movie. I just cannot help it. And I love Batman. So it's Batman, Godzilla, and Lord of the Rings. Those are my like three kind of millennial, cheesy, cringe fandoms that maybe it's not cringe, but I feel a little bit cringe because millennials have just taken their obsession with like franchises to a whole other level, and it makes me like ashamed that I am like that too sometimes. But anyways. Okay, so Batman, I really like Tropico. I love the Tropico games, and this is just my love for, Latin America. If you watch some of my favorite countries to travel to, it was Mexico. Had a good time in Puerto Rico and Costa Rica. I love Latin American culture, so of course I was going to love this game that takes place in like a Caribbean island, and you get to choose. It's like during the Cold War. I played this game a couple times during my channel. Pretty good views. I think it's definitely going to go up above here. I think this is like a nice spot for it. It always just gives me good vibes. I just like the vibes that I get from Tropico. I'm starting to run out of space here, so I might have to start eliminating my face while we get into this, but I think let's dive into a game that I was recent. This is probably the most recent game that I've been obsessed with. I haven't played it in like a year, but I got so insanely obsessed with this that it started getting in the way of my work. Like that's and I never let that happen. Like everyone that knows me knows that I do not let things get in the way of my channel and uploading and staying on a schedule. But this game managed to do it, and I think I came into it with such a low bar that I was like, this can't be that fun. I just kind of picked it up with my friends one day, and I became insanely obsessed. And this is Deep Rock Galactic. I still have this burning desire to play Deep Rock, but I'm scared. I think this must be the feeling that people that played World of Warcraft must get, or League of Legends. I never played those games, but I did play Deep Rock during COVID, and I just got insanely obsessed. And I'm afraid to open it up anymore because I don't want to go down that path in my life. Deep Rock's getting like an AA. And it's funny, my friends, Frank always asks me, my editor, my best friend, he always asks me, why are you so obsessed with that game? I don't know. I can't really describe it. I love procedurally generated stuff, which obviously that comes from my Civ obsession. I love Civ because every map is procedurally generated. The caves are procedurally generated. I love the different skill trees. I can't really figure it out. I can't fully figure out why I love that game so much. Just a lot of fun. I love indie games. Isn't that game made by like 4 people? I'm not sure if that's true, but I thought it was made by 4 people. Anyways, back to the beginning, since we kind of talked about Civ there. My passion for Civilization games really came from, now Abraham Lincoln here is holding up a 2. I never really played Civilization Revolution 2. I played Civilization Revolution 1. It's so funny. People that are a little bit older than me are going to hate me for this because they thought that they hated this game, and I'm going to be honest, I would not have a career if it wasn't for Civilization Revolution 1. I would not be here. I don't know what I would have done, but I wouldn't be here. This is the reason why I got into strategy games, is the Civilization Revolution franchise. This came out in like 2009. I remember being on my Xbox 360 on Xbox Live at that point, and I wanted to play a strategy game, and I just saw Nations. I've always kind of been interested in World War II, so I was like, yeah, I'll play as like America, so let me download this game, and I became completely obsessed. This was like 2009. This is like my senior year in high school. I have to give this a high ranking because of what it did for me. Like, this started literally everything, Civilization Revolution, because I got that in 2009, and then in 2010, Civ 5 came out, and then I just upgraded because I'm like, oh, this game's on PC. This means it's going to be even more strategic. I remember wanting to use my brain, so I stopped playing Civilization Revolution after I got Civ 5, but I'm here only because of this game. And so many people hated Firaxis for dropping Civ Revolution, but the truth is it got a lot of people into the franchise, and it worked. That's what the purpose of. I mean, people got it on their phones. I got it on Xbox 360. That's basically why I'm here. I got a good one to talk about because I just talked about, I don't know where I would have been if it wasn't for Civilization Revolution. I might have an idea. There was a very close time in my channel's history where I almost became one of these channels, and that would be a Pokemon channel. I got Pokemon Yellow here. I loved Pokemon. I remember reviewing Pokemon, Twitch Plays Pokemon. That was like this, huge bot kind of thing where everyone could input commands into the chat, and basically Ash would go around in circles, and chat would just try to defeat the whole game by inputting commands, and it was just this crazy thing. And I remember reviewing and talking about what each day, like day 1, day 2 of Twitch Plays Pokemon, and those videos did super well for me. I've also been obsessed with Pokemon, like watching Pokemon content on YouTube. I played Pal World recently. I very much enjoyed Pal World. Gave me Pokemon vibes. I mean, this is gonna go up there, to be honest. I mean, probably there. Like these are all childhood games except for Deep Rock, which is kind of funny. But maybe I would have been a Pokemon channel. I don't really know. We're leaving off. Obviously, we're gonna get to some big ones here. There's some big ones that I still have to hit. I guess I'll just hit another childhood game real quick. I got Crash Bandicoot. Loved Crash Bandicoot. Probably one of my favorite characters. Just like mascot characters for a game. And then Skyrim is pretty much the only big, what is that? Who makes that? The Bethesda game that I really played. I was obsessed with Skyrim. I don't think I feel right putting it above Gears of War. That feels bad, but I think I was just really obsessed with Skyrim, and you can still see it to this day. I really, when it comes to fantasy things and Bethesda, I can only reference Skyrim. And funny enough, I never played really a Fallout game either. I can't get into all the Fallout mods when it comes to map games because I didn't play them enough. I just played Skyrim, and I still love Skyrim, even though people joke about how you're going to be able to play Skyrim on your refrigerator one day. That would be me. I will absolutely play Skyrim on my refrigerator if you allow me to. What's his name? The guy that everyone gets mad at, the leader of the CEO of Bethesda. Anyways, yes, which he's gotten into a lot of trouble. Okay, so I'm going to save some of the big ones for last. So let's just hit a couple of the other ones. I always enjoyed playing Don't Starve. I really like Don't Starve. Don't Starve Together. I remember I really liked this DLC they came out with where you play as you play on Don't Starve, but on like a Caribbean sort of island, and like a hurricane. There's like hurricane season that comes every once in a while. I'm going to say that's going to go like solidly in B right there. Plague Inc. I still play this game to this day. I still love it. There's still great mods about it. Plague Inc. got a surge in popularity when COVID hit. That has to go and be probably there in terms of playing. That's going to definitely go up pretty high. Okay, I'm trying to think, what do I want to hit next? Okay, I've always enjoyed this one, which I played on my channel in the early days, The Long Dark. Probably my favorite survival game. I don't really know why. I think part of it is I started playing The Long Dark when it first dropped, and I love that it's continued to be developed. It's continued to get more and more interesting. I watched Frank play it, and like I played it like literally Alpha 1, and then like 5 years later, I watched my friends play it, and it was just cool to see how crazy it ended up getting. So I was always a fan of this game. That's going to go pretty high. I've also been a fan of Prison Architect. I'm really excited for Prison Architect 2. That really feels like it's literally Prison Architect from 1 to 2 is going to be like Roller Coaster Tycoon going from 2 to 3. I would love to review this game. I hope to do it. I don't know how. I think I've only done maybe one video ever of Prison Architect, if that. Maybe I did a little bit more. I can't even remember, but I've always liked Prison Architect. I wish people enjoyed it more that I played it, but people wouldn't really watch me play it, so I didn't play it much on my channel. I still enjoyed playing that game. In that same vein, let's go ahead and hit RimWorld. I liked Prison Architect more than RimWorld. I'm sorry. It's just a theming thing, even though I think RimWorld's probably a better game. Is that right to say? Probably. I mean, it's still, yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it comes to the long-term things. I guess we'll go ahead. Again, I'm trying to save some of the big strategy games for last. I loved The Last of Us, the first one. Yeah, part one. I literally bought a PlayStation 3 just for this game because I had heard I got super sold on it. Yeah, I definitely liked The Last of Us. It felt like if I was younger, that would have been my Gears of War moment. Like Last of Us felt like this was different and new and fresh, and that I probably would have become super obsessed with The Last of Us. I never played 2. I know 2 is controversial, but yeah, I really liked Last of Us 1. That changed a lot of things. Okay, so as you can see, I got 5 strategy games left. They're not all Paradox, but here we go. Let's go with the one that it's not going to go as high. I remember going to Paradox Con before they were about to drop Imperator Rome. I think that's when they announced Imperator Rome. And I made one of the worst predictions ever. I thought this game was going to be a banger. And it was exclusively because it just looked cool. I liked the map tilting, which I still kind of wonder if they got that concept from... I don't want to say it, but all I knew was that I started to experiment if you watch before Imperator Rome came out, a year before that, I started experimenting with, I would always do like keyframe scrolling around like EU4 maps and Hearts of Iron 4 maps, and then one day I decided to tilt the map at the same time, and it almost gave it this globe effect. I've always wondered if that's where they got that from, because you could see it in my first mega campaign where I started doing this tilt effect. So it would be like a scroll and zoom out, and then I would throw a tilt in the window, and it would do something like this, and it really felt like the globe was moving. It felt like you were almost like a satellite moving in space, and I love that aspect of visually Rome. I tried to play Imperator Rome, to be honest. I couldn't get into it at all. And nobody wanted to watch it because no one can connect. It's funny, no one could connect, in my opinion. AI-only battles in this game never worked because people need to have a nation to feel a part of. And I think that's just too far in history. That's my opinion. Also, we talked about with CK2, when you don't have the full world map, you're pretty much like exiting out so many possible viewers when you're just focusing on Europe. You know, people from Asia are going to be less interested. People from the United States might be less interested, or South America. I think all those things factored into why it never worked AI only battle wise, and I was never interested in really playing that game. Okay, let's do another one that I never really liked that much. I never really liked Stellaris. I'm sorry. I think I'll put Stellaris behind Imperator Rome. I know Stellaris is a big game for Paradox. I know I covered Stellaris. I like to do Stellaris in mega campaigns just to, it's kind of fun to cap it off. I don't like this game though. I wish I did. It's okay to play. It's okay to play weirdly. I don't know why I don't like it. It's not a fun AI game, obviously. I can't even really put my finger on it. I think I'm just not a sci-fi guy. Sorry. It's just I'm not a sci-fi dude. I'm a history guy. I'm sure this is the way the Total War community feels when it comes to the historical versus the fantasy. That's why I could never get into the Warhammer Total War games, because I just don't like fantasy as much. I like Lord of the Rings, funny enough, but I don't prefer to talk about that stuff. I like to watch it. I like to consume the content, but I don't like to personally give my opinion and dive deeply and play games like that. I don't know. I just never liked Stellaris. Okay, we got 3 games left. These are the big ones. These are pretty much the 3 games that I played for years and years and years, and I got burnt out on a lot of them. I guess I'll start Civ 6. Civ 5 absolutely getting S tier. And to be honest, I think Civ 6 is getting S tier as well, but it's not going to go up above these games. It's going to go towards the back. I like Civ 6. One of my most viewed videos ever on my main channel is playing Civ 6 until there's only one left. That was so much fun. One of the reasons why I liked Civ 5 more is the AI was way more entertaining. Like, it wasn't even close. Civ 5 AI was so much better. I think it's just because they consumed... No, actually, it was because Civ 6 decided to remove the city from just the city center, and they started putting districts all around, and the AI just was stupid. You know, the AI is stupid in general. But when you have a simpler game with simpler features, they're going to be more entertaining. Civ 5 always had better AI-only videos, which is why Civ 5 is better than Civ 6. So Civ 6 AI-only battles, in my opinion, kind of sucked compared to Civ 5. I like to play Civ 6 equally. I like to play Civ 5 and Civ 6 to an equal amount. Yes, I feel like Civ 6 is a little bit slow. I don't know why I don't know where that's really coming from, but I always felt like it ran a little bit slow, a little bit chunky at times. I don't know why I'm criticizing this game right now, but I do still love Civ 6. I'm interested to see what Civ 7 does. I mean, where does Firaxis really go? I wish the mods. There's just certain things that bring. I don't know why I'm being so critical. Overall, I love Civ 6, which is why it's getting an S tier. But I guess I'm just trying to show why I liked Civ 5 a little bit better. Okay, here we go. Hearts of Iron 4 and EU4. I'm gonna go Hearts of Iron 4 next. Like I talked about, I have very mixed opinions towards Hearts of Iron 4. I don't even think I can load this game without me like wanting to die a little bit inside because I watched it load so many times. I will play it again pretty soon. For the first time in like 3 years. So definitely check out the Drew Woo channel if you want to see that. See me return to Hearts of Iron 4 for the first time in literally, I think, 3 years. But yes, I like Hearts of Iron 4. It is a good game. If I remove my feelings towards Burnout, it is a fun game. And it's just like, how did no one else create, with everyone's obsession with World War II, has this never been made before? Like, it's so good. I don't enjoy playing Hearts of Iron 4. I guess I enjoyed it a little bit in 2016, but I never really liked it that. I really don't like playing Hearts of Iron 4, weirdly. It's funny, I got a lot of comments in the previous video about, oh, well, if you're burnt out in watching Paradox games, just play it. I thought I kind of answered that question in the video. It was a little bit later in the video, so that's maybe why people didn't get to that part. But I don't like playing Hearts of Iron 4. I don't want to ever play it. I only played it past 2017 because people begged me to play it. And then I'd play it once, like maybe every 6 months. People wouldn't really watch. They wouldn't really care. I hated it. So that's why I never really did it. I don't know. I don't know why. I never really enjoyed playing Hearts of Iron 4. I like to watch it. So as an observer game, it's going to get like A, because I did like it. It takes a little bit long to run, although I did hear recently, performance-wise, it's even better. So maybe I'll go A tier. I think Assault, like the closest to A. I like that a lot. And last one, EU4. This is going pretty high up there, I gotta admit. Like I said, CK2 and CK3 are my favorite games to play, but they have zero AI spectator value for me. EU4 is that perfect mix of I like to play it, and it's a good AI game. It's solid. It's fun. Gotta admit, it's a little repetitive. Like I said, one of the reasons why I stopped doing EU4 is because it's always Britain takes over the map, France takes over the map, Spain or Portugal. It's always those three. Occasionally you'll see Poland, do good, or the Ottomans, but it's always the same top 10. There's never like a random. I wish there was just slightly more elements of randomness. Maybe there's a mod in there that will super buff out Ulm randomly, the city-state of Ulm, to be super powerful. I wish that was more of a thing. I feel like the games that I play right now on Drew has a better chance of like completely random. I think like Namibia has won one of my World War Simulator videos, which I think is kind of funny. Like, I wish EU4 had a bit more of that dynamic, just like a crazy chaos mode that I could just enable. Regardless, EU4, fun to play. I still have a desire to play that. I cannot remember very many Civ 5 Let's Plays. I can remember almost all of my Let's Plays in EU4 back in the day because I had so much fun, and they lasted so long, and I would think about them outside of me playing them. Like, I would be excited to play them, and I had a lot more great multiplayer memories in EU4. So that is where the list will end up. These are just games throughout my life. These are not all the games. I'm sure I'm missing some of the games that I really enjoyed. But these are just games that really popped out to me that I had a fun time with. But if you want to see more out of this channel, I got so many more ideas that I want to talk about here. I want to bring on Frank for some things. I want to do more tier lists. I might even do some like actual in real life stuff that's not just in my room. But we'll see about that. See you next time.